Hi, everyone, again. I'm so honored to be here today as part of the TACTIX project. I must say that the lectures we've had so far have been incredibly insightful, and I felt truly excited and understood as I saw so much of my experience reflected on what we've covered. And now I would like to share with you the patient perspective, offering a personal insight into how all of this information plays out in real life and can affect an individual on a deeper level. So what's it really like to live with MS? For starters, MS is a sneaky companion. For years, I went without fully realizing what was happening to me. I spent at least 2 years trying to rationalize the symptoms. Blurred vision must be the changing seasons. Just use a nice drop. And it will pass. Or numbness in my arm. Maybe I slept with the AC on. A little too much fluid intake. Perhaps that's why I need to use the bathroom so often. But MS is a drama queen. If you dare to ignore it, it will make sure you don't. And eventually it shows up in ways you can't just brush aside. And in 2016, I reached a point where I could no longer pretend. I could barely see out of my right eye, and my right leg wouldn't cooperate enough to walk properly. And that's when I started the long road of diagnostic tests, the drill, the MRIs, vision exams, sensation tests, blood work, spinal fluid samples, and of course, finally, the steroid treatments. The attacks kept coming, and especially in the first year. And every time I made plans with friends, MS would say, sorry, honey, we're passing on this one. So this is not exactly what a 19-year-old dreams of, right? After a failed attempt with a disease-modifying therapy of an interferon injection that almost caused liver failure after just 3 months, I was scared enough to stop all DMTs until very recently, actually, November 2024. And MS, as I came to understand, is a bit like being torn between the mythical Scylla and Charybdis. Like, you either choose a milder prognosis with DMTs, facing the risk of severe side effects, or you take the route of not using DMTs, which could lead to a faster progression of disability, but allows you to maintain a higher quality of life in the early stages. So basically, potato, potato. And fast forward to November 2024, after so many years of navigating MS without a DMT, I finally felt ready to give another try and place my trust in the process. However, if I am being honest, MS is a teacher, and it is my greatest teacher. I used to see it as something I've had to fight, the whole MS warrior mindset. And of course, there's a time for that, to diagnose it as early as possible, to apply the right treatments, to achieve the best possible outcomes, and maybe even prevent it in the future. But on a more philosophical level, I've come to realize that I can't fight my teacher. It's there to guide and teach me. So not long ago, better late than never, I decided to embrace this teacher and let it help me grow. 2016 was the year I was set to take the university entrance exams, but I was diagnosed just 1 week prior to the first phase. And by then, I had no clear idea of what I wanted to study as an undergraduate. And the demands of managing my health consumed so much of my time that I had neither the physical nor mental energy to prepare. However, this experience led me to discover a passion for languages, and soon I fell in love with the idea of studying translation. And once I began my studies, I was particularly motivated by the lack of accessible Turkish sources on holistic health at the time. And my fluency in English became invaluable as I turned to foreign sources. And this inspired me to make this important information available to a wider Turkish audience, empowering them to take control of their health and make more informed decisions for their well-being. And this later translated into my pursuit of an MA degree in translation here at Boğaziçi University. And my thesis focused on how translating concepts of a holistic approach to health affects health activism, patient empowerment, and health literacy here in Turkey. And starting this February, I'll be teaching the healthcare translation course here at Boğaziçi University again. So thus taking another step toward my goal of training qualified future translators in the field of healthcare. And if life ever leads me down the path of a PhD, I envision focusing on public health, health policy and management, or science communication. And I'm genuinely excited about it. And all of this is due to MS. It's difficult sometimes to shift your perspective, but I no longer see my life as because of MS. It's more like despite MS. And now I've reached a point where I can honestly say it's all thanks to MS. My parents suggested I sit the first phase of the exams out, but I didn't really fully grasp the severity of the situation at the time. I felt confident I'd be fine once the steroids worked their magic and my symptoms faded. However, the first phase didn't go well. And sure, the results weren't disastrous, but for me, they were disappointing. I cried for days. I hadn't had much time to study, but I did better in the second phase. I hope to get into Boğaziçi's translation and interpreting department, but my poor first phase result kept me out. Initially disappointed, I ended up at Yeditepe University here again in Istanbul, where I received an amazing education, and to my surprise, many of the professors were actually from Boğaziçi, so I never really considered transferring. And fast forward though, life has a funny way of surprising you. The university I once felt sad about not getting into has now become the place where I've pursued my graduate degree and am preparing to teach my first course. So MS truly has a knack for turning things around in ways we can't always anticipate. Over time, I felt compelled to share my journey with others. I realized that everyone's journey is unique, and not just with MS, but in every aspect of life. I wanted to create this atmosphere of sharing and learning, so I started a blog called Multiple Sclerosis. I know it might seem a bit blunt, but I've always loved puns and thought it was a lighthearted way to approach a heavy topic. Initially, I wrote about my diagnosis, the attacks, the treatments, lifestyle changes I made, and life with an overactive bladder. And as time went on, I shifted my focus to shorter content rather than long entries, describing my daily life, how I exercise, the benefits I gain from physiotherapy practices like dry needling, how I handle vacation packing and routines, and importantly, how I maintain my mental health. Eventually, the content even took on a more philosophical tone. And the blog is a very teeny tiny circle for now, but the feedback I get from readers, often from unexpected sources, makes me realize how deeply one's experiences can resonate with others. And I'll never forget one message I received years ago from a friend I hadn't been in proper contact with since high school. She was a medical student at the time, and she wrote to say, "Your writing on lumbar puncture and CSF really hit me. We were recently trained on how to perform an LP, and your post reminded me that there is a person on the other side of that procedure. As medical students and professionals, we sometimes forget that. Thank you for that reminder." And that moment meant everything to me. I recently came across the concept of rippling, which Irvin Yalom mentions in his work, Staring at the Sun, as a way to counteract the terror of death. He explains that the impact we have on others creates concentric circles of influence that can last for generations, whether we are aware of it or not. And this idea resonated with me the moment I read about it, especially as I continue to share my experiences. While I'm not sure about the coping with death aspect in my case, I do know that I want to make a meaningful contribution to others' lives, however small it may be. Perhaps this isn't what you would expect to hear when someone describes their life with MS, but it is what it is. I could talk about how stiff my body is some days, making it hard even to turn to the other side in bed. How overwhelming it is to be constantly on a toilet hunt and avoid activities that don't have a nearby restroom. Or how disheartening it is to wonder, not if, but when I'll end up in a wheelchair. I could even tell you how sometimes I feel like getting rid of my right leg altogether when it feels heavier than an anchor. or how heartbreaking it is to realize that I'm not the same as I was just 5 months ago. That progressive lesion at the C6, C7 level on the MRI must have a physical manifestation after all, right? I sometimes wish I didn't have to spend so much money on adult diapers. I always try to respond with grace when strangers say, "Get well soon," upon seeing me with a cane, or when they offer me their seat on public transport. But inside a voice tells me it's never gonna get better, no matter how much I smile and say thanks. Such thoughts are like a black hole. Once you're pulled in, they leave no room for hope or light. But I can't afford to dwell on them, because doing so would betray the lively spirit in me, the one that feels she's found her purpose thanks to MS. I'm not sure what the future holds, none of us is, but there's great value in trying to make the most of whatever you have on hand. MS has taught me to slow down and to be fully present in the moment and to savor whatever is in front of me. Maybe that's the lesson MS is trying to teach me. In fact, I've never been so in shape, eating healthier, sleeping better, and mentally in a better place than I am now. Again, thanks to MS. Over the years, significant adjustments in my lifestyle have led to remarkable health outcomes. And for example, almost 2 years ago, I was even motivated to take part in the qualifying rounds for an international swimming competition to cross the Bosphorus. So it's almost ironic. I've never been this good before MS. It's as if I'm living my best life after MS. And here's the thing, MS has also taught me something profound. We're incredibly complex beings, this is a simple fact. But the mechanisms that enable us to accomplish even the most basic tasks we often take for granted, like talking, walking, holding a pen, reaching for a glass, or even flexing these muscles to smile, are nothing short of miracles and deserve to be cherished. This may sound odd, and every day I put so much effort into navigating this love-hate relationship with MS, but at the end of it all, I'm grateful for it. It has shaped me into who I am today. It gave me purpose and taught me to appreciate even the smallest human abilities that most people overlook. Being able to climb 2 floors from the women's restroom today, not taking the elevator, was a win, and I will take it. Each moment holds the potential to celebrate small victories, and that's what makes life meaningful. Being able to talk about MS as an empowering, life-changing experience is a privilege, and I am an N of 1. I know I'm just one individual. I'm aware that there are many who suffer deeply because of MS, and some days all I want to do is just sit and cry. But thanks to the unwavering support of my parents, my friends, my loved ones, and of course my healthcare providers, I find the strength to keep going. MS is also a social butterfly, with its myriad manifestations often pushing you to seek help from a range of professionals. Along the way, I've crossed paths with so many remarkable people, whether from the medical field or not, each of whom has played a significant role in my journey. And these individuals have touched my life in meaningful ways, and I hope that in turn I've been able to touch theirs. I cannot thank enough the scientists, doctors, engineers, healthcare professionals, and researchers who work tirelessly to better understand MS, develop new diagnostic tools and treatments, and improve the lives of patients. A heartfelt thanks to Professor Dilaver Kaya and Professor Alp Dinçer from Acıbadem University Altunizade Hospital, who have cared for me and been by my side for the past 9 years. This is no small feat. And of course, a special thanks to Professor Esin Öztürk Işık for leading this incredible project and giving me the opportunity to share my perspective as a patient here today. And never forget that each one of you, and as TACTIX, you are touching lives in ways you may never fully understand. You're offering us hope, and for that, we are profoundly grateful. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Amazing.